Now we head to some creative hubs in Kurdistan, which have been home to philosophers, musicians and artists for centuries. Rosie Lees-Thompson has more on the cultural reawakening of these cities.
The Kurdish region of Iraq has a long history dedicated to the arts. Since the modern city's founding more than 200 years ago, Sulayaniyah has been a creative hotbed for singers, artists, polymaths, and poets like Mahi and Pyramid and Nali, who came to call it home. Today, the city is in the midst of transforming a 60,000 square metre abandoned tobacco factory into a cultural hub where young artists can gather to create. For these young Kurds, there are no rules. They simply meet to make music.
It starts as some form of insanity. Everybody's just hitting their instrument, and then at some point they find a rhythm, after half an hour, and they go on that rhythm and they make little tweaks to it by themselves, and what you have after an hour and a half is a masterpiece.
The group attracts performers from across the city and welcomes any instrument into the mix.
We gather here weekly and we practice on an idea we may have, or we mix two different instruments that have not been mixed together before. And because of the flexibility of the place and how we are allowed to work on our ideas, we get the opportunity to be able to create something great. If we did not have a stable space like this, it would have been very difficult.
But it's not just musicians that have found a home at the factory. Fine artist Tara Abdullah has transformed a corner of the plant into a gallery and studio.
Art affects you like a disease. You cannot get rid of it like a disease that affects a person. There's always something inside you that moves. All of this comes out when you move your hands.
Supported by non-profit organisations and the Kurdish regional government, the project of converting the factory into a creative hub is still in its early stages. So far, only one of the buildings has been made into art studios and an exhibition gallery. But there is hopes that in the next couple of years it will host a cinema, theatre, teaching spaces and a dance studio. Sulayaniyah is not the only Kurdish city to be fostering creativity.
The citadel in Erbil is one of the most oldest continuously inhabited places in the world. There's little wonder that for centuries artists have been inspired by its grandeur. Like Kurdish Iraqi archaeologist turned artist Lana Haddad, who invented the strategy board game Erbilium, based on Erbil and its history. In the two-player game, participants battle for power and influence as the ancient Assyrian kings Ashurbanipal and Sennacherib.
I hope that this will be the first game in a long series of games where I present a different kind of periods in our heritage. So I started with the Assyrian Empire because it's one of the richest recorded period in history, of human history. And we have so much objects and material from this time.
Lana, who based her game on accurate historical information and events, believes that following decades of conflict, art has become incredibly important to the Kurdish people, allowing them to reconnect with their heritage.
We just don't want to talk about what happened in the past. We don't forget it, but we take it as resilience and try to build something new. So art was always something very, very important in this culture, and not only for the Kurdish, but for all communities that are here living together.
Like many young artists, Lana hopes that her art will bring communities together and create intrigue into the history of the region.